yo, we represent God.
Who you represent? 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 Who you represent?
Hey yo, we represent God. We represent God. Hey yo, we represent God. Hey yo, we represent God. We represent God. Hey yo, we represent God.
You gotta keep a close eye on the people that you move with. Everybody nowadays be marching in the movement. Some ain't gon' like what I'm saying in my song, cause they be marching for the right to do what is the wrong. Abortion is a sin, homosex is a sin. And if you're born that way, then you could be born again. Sometimes I really wonder if this world is listening, cause we are not the same. I am a Christian, I read the Bible, Christ is what I'm into. It should show if he has a relationship with you. Take up your cross, deny yourself and follow me. If you are a man of God, you cannot watch pornography. You can't fornicate, so throw away the condoms. I don't care how much honey say she wants them. Even when they not looking, rep him to the core, rep him in the public eyes and behind closed doors. Who you represent? 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 Who you represent?
Hey yo, we represent God. We represent God. Hey yo, we represent God. Hey yo, we represent God. We represent God. Hey yo, we represent God.
Now don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to start a riot, but I do believe the church has been too quiet while the world is busy marching, legalizing everything. But what they really want to legalize is sin. Same-sex marriages, let me just testify. When you legalize that, then here comes the pedophile and the polygamist and the one who weed smoke. Next you know, you gon' have to legalize real coke. Induced birth abortion, you are anti-life. This is a lawless society who's anti-Christ. God hates racism and he hates to see injustice. The question that I'm asking is, where are the churches? They keep telling me, learn to tolerate, but when I say what I believe, then they tell me that it's hate. But I love all sinners and I don't discriminate, but when it comes to sin, I refuse to participate. Who you represent? 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 Who you represent?
Hey yo, we represent God. We represent God. Hey yo, we represent God. Hey yo, we represent God. We represent God. Hey yo, we represent God.
Now come into my classroom, grab a chair, please sit. A lot of things we think is cool, God ain't really pleased with. You think you get away with it, cause it's done in secret, but you fool yourself because he always sees it. I've been bought with a price, and yes, I am loving it. God so loved the world that his only son hung for it on the cross. Now I am under his government. The rainbow's not a sign of gay pride, but of a covenant. This is not a hate speech, this is just a warning. What you call a lifestyle, God already calls it. This world is impatient, they constantly racing. I switched up my style to bring it to your generation who needs salvation. You are so unaware, there's a God up above and he really do cares. But you built up a great wall around you like China. You're a perfect design, so tell me who's your designer? Who you represent? 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 Who you represent?
Hey yo, we represent God. We represent God. Hey yo, we represent God. Hey yo, we represent God. We represent God. Hey yo, we represent God.
out. Righteous Entertainment is the name, man. And this is so serious. So serious. You wanna know why, man? I'll tell you why, man. Matter of fact, I'll let him do it for you. Come on. Whether or not you're feeling me, I'ma use my ministry to confuse my enemies. Whether or not you're feeling me, I'ma use my ministry to confuse my enemies. Whether or not you're feeling me, I'ma use my ministry to confuse my enemies. Whether or not you're feeling me, I'ma use my ministry to confuse my enemies. Whether or not you're feeling me, I'ma use my ministry to confuse my enemies and just bomb the industry that's against the Trinity. Radio's feeding me apples and apples, but I want strawberries and kiwis. Every song on the radio appears to be about driving Lamborghinis, taking trips to Tahiti and sipping a martini, watching girls in bikinis and just getting all of your wishes and granted like genies. But where did that life ever get to pocket Biggie? Gonna bring back Lisa Lopez to T-Bars and chili. We not falling for your tricks, these rabbits are not silly. I'ma show the world that you're fake like Milli Vanilli. I've got a mission, people stop and listen. I'm not here to force you to become a Christian, that is your decision. But I am a victim of a system that never gives airplay to anything Christian. Not you feeling me, I'ma use my ministry to confuse my enemies. Whether or not you're feeling me, I'ma use my ministry to confuse my enemies. Whether or not you're feeling me, I'ma use my ministry to confuse my enemies. Whether or not you're feeling me, I'ma use my ministry to confuse my enemies. Gangsters get airplay, crack fiends get airplay, homosexual drug addicts, drag queens get airplay. This ain't no fair play, what must I do to get airplay? Oh, I know, maybe I should switch up my resume and start rapping about how to get weeded. Puff that blunt, smoke the split till your eyes blinking. Or maybe I could talk about the girls I could sleep with and how Victoria no longer has a secret. Or maybe I could talk about my 11 Mac 11s, my 838s, my 10 Mac 10s, and maybe then I'll get rotations on stations, cause my qualifications will not be legit, cause I poisoned my music and took the healing out of it. But really and truly all I gotta do is go back to my resume and take out the name that begins with J, cause that's who they don't wanna play. Whether or not you're feeling me, I'ma use my ministry to confuse my enemies. Whether or not you're feeling me, I'ma use my ministry to confuse my enemies. Whether or not you're feeling me, I'ma use my ministry to confuse my enemies. Whether or not you're feeling me, I'ma use my ministry to confuse my enemies. Wasn't easy, believe me. I didn't come from a deluxe apartment like George and Wheezy, and it wasn't a bomb dig being the preacher's kid. I had to live like a preacher, man, not like a kid. Whatever I did got put on blast. Try living your life under a magnifying glass and see if it ain't tough. Man, I had so much stuff that my stuff had stuff. When I did good, it wasn't good enough. When I did bad, it was like people were glad, cause they could use it against my dad that destroyed us. Wolves in sheep's clothing are the most dangerous. Plus, people will always be wishing that you fail, but you gotta give it all with every breath that you inhale. And when you know the Savior, man, you might not be qualified, but you got divine favor. I can't make it without you, Lord, I need you in my life, and I am so lost without you, Lord, I need you in my life, I need you. Hey, I was born in Guyana, but I wasn't raised there. Got a few memories of my younger days there. what it's worth. He did what most men should do. He went out and worked. He was a man of faith. But some figured that the man of faith must have his hands in the offering plate, so they plotted a robbery. But little did they know that you can't rob God's property. Cause that joy don't come from material things. That joy comes from knowing the King of Kings. So around 12 a.m. I thought I was in the Biggie song when the robbery began. Cause they kicked in the door, waving the fofo, put a gun to my mom's and dropped us on the floor. But we were safe and secure, divinely protected by the Spirit of the Lord. Come on. I can't make it without you, Lord, I need you in my life. And I am so lost without you, Lord, I need you in my life. I need you. Sometimes I'm lost in this world and I feel so alone, so I run to your garden. Your presence is my home. I need you. This life has no meaning without you. Without you. Sometimes I'm lost in this world and I feel so alone, so I run to your garden. Your presence is my home. I need you. This life has no meaning without you. Without you. Lamb who sits on your throne. They took my mom's wedding ring among other things and put a gun to my newborn little sister. They told my dad take off the ring, if he don't they'll be forced to break off his ring finger. I thought I was gonna die, but at age 7 God showed he don't tell lies. The memories are concrete, cause that knife inches could've turned into 6 feet. They fired shots at me and my pops, but the shots missed, and now I rhyme like this. When the bullets missed me, yo, they went and hit the wall. That wasn't bad aim, that was Jesus Christ. When the bullets missed me, yo, they went and hit the wall. That wasn't bad aim, that was Jesus Christ. I can't make it without you, Lord, I need you in my life. And I am so lost without you, Lord, I need you in my life. I need you. Need you in my life. Need you in my life.